how did you become interested in this particular region of Texas?
Well, I have been writing and researching about West Texas, the Pecos River country, the Devils River country, for more than 30 years. I was a reporter for the Midland, Texas Reporter-Telegram, and as a regional reporter, I would be sent out into the area to find feature stories. And I began hearing all these great tales and stories of lore and legend. And one thing led to another, and I began doing a series of articles about the legends of West Texas and the history. And so my interest just really kind of grew out of all of that.
Okay. Do you have favorite writers who have carved out a particular territory as you have?
Well, certainly I think any writer who writes about West Texas in terms of Western literature would do well to emulate Elmer Kelton. A wonderful man and a wonderful writer, and he certainly carved out a niche for himself in terms of West Texas history. And so really on the way home from his funeral services in 2009, I asked myself, who can carry on writing about West Texas? And by that time I had a number of nonfiction books about the area. So I thought it'd be a great way to honor his memory to turn to fiction based on my research into the area.
Do you have any tips for researchers or writers who want to delve into the history of a particular time or place?
Well, actually, you can spend all the time you want to in archives, and which I do, and old newspapers and talking to the old timers. But until you go out and actually walk the landmarks, you don't really know the country. You don't really know what the pioneers experienced. Every understanding of history, I think, is dependent on a person's understanding of the geography. And by going to the landmarks, or walking the old trails like I did on the Devils River, I spent a lot of time down there, Camp Hudson and Beaver Lake, all of these historic spots. By walking the same landmarks, it gives me a common frame of reference for the people of the 19th century that I'm writing about. So I would recommend that anyone who wants to write about earlier times and earlier places to go there yourself and get a feel for the land.
While you were researching your setting for this novel, did you find any unexpected or particularly interesting information about the setting or the people?
Well, because it deals with the race relations in the Old West and on the Texas Range in the 1880s, I came across 7 interviews the Work Projects Administration funded between 1936 and 1940. And these 7 interviews were conducted with cowboys who had once been slaves or who were first-generation free men. And by studying their accounts, and some were taken down in dialect, and that gave me insight into the dialogue of my black character. And some incidents were actually based on things that occurred to some of these early black cowhands. Really, it's a remarkable set of interviews at the Library of Congress.